Welcome to our presentation. Our group is investigating the roles of damaged neurocircuits in Alzheimer's disease. So, our group was interested about the pathways in the brain. Thus, our topic is neurocircuits. Our subtopic is diverging circuits and how it branches out or diverges to communicate with other neurons to carry out signals. And we chose to relate diverging circuits to Alzheimer's disease as our research topic. Introductions. My name is Sydney. I am the facilitator, and Risca is my co-author. We have 9 other subsequent authors, and they include Nevign, Octavian, Skylar, Kiara, Danya, Shyra, Mira, Jackson, and Selina. We'll first go over the objective of our research, then some background information and introductions, then methods and figure 4. Then we'll go on to figure 1, which are senior authors with multiple papers of chosen top 100 most cited papers. Then figure 2, senior author institution with multiple papers of the top 100 most cited papers on neural circuits relating to Alzheimer's disease. And figure 3, journals with multiple top 100 cited articles. After that, we'll be going over our conclusion and our findings within these articles. Then we will show you the data table that we have with the top 100 most cited papers and our references that we used for this research.
Objective of our research. Our objective is to determine the effects related to damaged neural circuits within Alzheimer's disease, and to analyze and summarize the factorial findings within the effects of damaged neural circuits on Alzheimer's disease through our top 100 most cited sources.
Background/introduction. So, Alzheimer's disease is a brain disorder that destroys memory and thinking skills. But what really happens in the brain of someone with Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's is associated with protein accumulations, which leads to neural dysfunction, wherein healthy neurons stop functioning, they lose connections with other neurons, and die. We will talk about the relationship between Alzheimer's disease and damaged neural circuits in the brain.
Methods and figure 4. Figure 4 shows a flow diagram of the literature search process outlining the number of studies that were identified, included, and excluded at each stage. The 4 key words are Alzheimer's disease, neurocircuits, dysfunctional damage circuits, and diverging circuits. For our preliminary search, we put the 4 keywords into the Web of Science, and that yielded us a result of 203 papers. We then needed to categorize the initial search into 2 categories: eligible studies and non-eligible studies. Out of the 100 eligible studies, we needed to further sort out using BiblioShiny. We identified that 60 out of the 100 papers were articles, and 40 out of the 100 papers were review.
We have our list of cited papers. So figure 1 shows the senior authors with multiple papers of the chosen top 100 most cited papers. And these authors are very relevant to Alzheimer's and neural circuit studies today. These are the top 7 senior authors that we found in our search: Leonard Muck, Bradley T. Hyman, Gang Chen, Andred Lozano, Kimberly Hoover, Philip Wong, and Matt Stevens.
Leonard Muck is the #1 author with multiple papers in our data. He is the director of the Gladstone Institute of Neurological Disease and a senior investigator at Gladstone. He is also the Joseph B. Martin Distinguished Professor of Neuroscience and a professor of neurology at UC San Francisco.
Bradley T. Hyman is the second author with most multiple papers in our data. Dr. Hyman directs the Alzheimer's Disease Research Unit at the Mass General Institute for Neurodegenerative Disease. He has a lab that focuses on research in neurosystem failure underlying cognitive loss in Alzheimer's disease.
This is Figure 2. Figure 2 shows the senior author institution with multiple papers of the top 100 most cited papers. This figure shows how frequently papers are associated with these institutions. University of Toronto being number 1 with 15 occurrences, Harvard at number 2 with 9 occurrences, the UC system tied with University Health Network Toronto, SUNY Rutgers University, Massachusetts General Hospital, Harvard Medical School, and Columbia University all with 8 occurrences, and then Johns Hopkins University with 7 occurrences.
University of Toronto and Harvard University appear to be the most frequent and are the top institutions and world leaders for scientific research on Alzheimer's disease. These are highly credited universities for our research.
Figure 3. Figure 3 shows the top journal articles within the top 100 cited articles. Journal of Neuroscience has the highest frequency with a frequency of 7, with Neuron having a frequency of 5, Brain with the frequency of 4, and Journal of Neuroscience Research tied with Journal of Neurotransmission, International Journal of Molecular Science, and Cerebral Cortex all for a frequency of 3. These topics are the most relevant to our research. Connecting these topics to Alzheimer's disease, neuroscience is a deeper dive into the brain with hundreds of billions of neurons and neurotransmitters that all connect to Alzheimer's disease.
Data table part 1. This is our data table that we collected, including the top 100 most cited papers. The data table includes first author, senior author, year, article title, journal title, and the citations. The citation ranges from 1,181 citations as the top citation to 18 as our lowest citation. References are Web of Science, BiblioShiny, and RStudio platform. So now we're on to our conclusions and findings.
Okay. The initial damage for Alzheimer's disease takes place in parts of the brain responsible for memory, which are the hippocampus and interior cortex. As more neurons die, the brain begins to shrink and more parts of the brain are affected, leading to widespread damage and a significant decrease in brain tissue for final stage Alzheimer patients. Neural circuits that are not used frequently can begin to degrade.
Alzheimer's disease results from altered forms of amyloid and hyperphosphorylated tau, which are neurotoxic. Amyloid and tau have progressively impaired the synapses, neural circuits, and neural networks in brains with Alzheimer's disease.
Pathological changes in synaptic plasticity alter neural circuits and network function, thus causing clinical symptoms like sensory and motor dysfunctions. Various Alzheimer's disease neuropsychiatric symptoms are related to neural circuit impairment. Anatomic isolation can be caused by the formation of neurofibrillary tangles, neuronal loss, a decrease in dendritic extent, and synaptic depletion, which stops communication across these areas.
Two specific cortical systems are involved and vulnerable to degeneration. The first one is with connections between the hippocampus and its nearby cortical structures within the temporal lobe. The second one is the cortical cholinergic system, which comes with neurons within the basal forebrain and innervates the entire cortical mantle. Circuitry in these two systems depicts early degenerative changes in Alzheimer's disease.
The loss of function or damage to neural circuits causes memory impairment, communication difficulty, behavioral problems, and language loss. Loss of certain brain functions could also affect other health conditions, such as the loss of physical abilities, including muscle weakness and coordination decline, cognitive decline, dehydration, malnutrition, severe disability, difficulty eating, hallucinations, and more.